In just under a second, this company can access and analyze thousands of pieces of information about you. Technology tracking firm x+1 is following your every click as you browse online, and companies are using that information to tailor their websites and offerings to your needs. Joining us in a first on Fox Business, Ted Shergalis, co-founder and chief technology officer of x+1. Seems like, Ted, you're in the sweet spot in terms of what companies that are marketing products and services to people need. But how's business? How much is it growing?
Business is great. We've had a great year to date, and year-on-year growth has been very strong. More broadly, the trend for targeting or personalization has also been extremely kind of active as people are moving away from interruptive marketing to something that's much more about targeted conversational marketing. Data is key to that, so that's where x+1 plays.
There is a fine line between data and privacy, though. And the Wall Street Journal had a big series on this last week, and they talked about privacy concerns, about people getting, maybe feeling that there's too much information about them online. How do you address the privacy concerns? Because I'm sure your customers have that too.
Yeah, look, the use of data for more relevant communications and the privacy concerns are definitely something you need to address as a marketer. Notification to customers about what you're collecting, notification on how they can opt out or choose not to be targeted are very important. What I think is critical, though, is consumers expect that marketers are better about the targeting and the relevant communications they provide. There's a fine line between spying on customers and listening to customers, and that is really kind of a dialogue that we have with our marketing partners. How do you give consumers access and information about opting out and the data that's being collected?
Based on my behavior online, you can pinpoint where I shop, a whole host of behavior that I might exhibit for a marketer, can you not? Like, what could you tell about me?
Well, yes, and your individual behavior or your personally identifiable information is never used by x+1 or any of our marketing partners. What we're attempting to do is make a more relevant experience on the websites that you visit, such that you get the information and the
they might not know my name, but if you're guessing at where I shop and where I go during the day and the type of behavior I exhibit in my everyday life, people find that personal and private.
Right. I think an interesting analogy and a way to look at kind of relevance in this privacy discussion is looking at the Apple ads that were recently out last year between the Mac and the PC. When a computer connects to the internet and you're trying to determine what web page to deliver, you need to know some technical information, whether or not the person's on a Macintosh computer or a Microsoft PC computer. What's interesting is, in that Apple ad, there was a distinct personality type behind those very technical details. It's that type of drawing out inferences that we as marketers are always attempting to do. Never pinpoint people or try to track or spy, but really create an experience that's targeted for you.
What would be the limit of what we should be able to know about somebody?
Those limits and drawing boundaries, I think, are pretty well defined by the self-regulatory groups that we're part of and other online technology companies are part of, either the IAB or the NAI, which is the Network Advertising Initiative. Some of the kind of defined boundaries today are medical conditions, targeting children or teens. Those are kind of the very clear black and white issues. There are a host of gray areas that we as an industry continue to debate and are working with advocates down.
If I don't want you to track me and use any of my information or even behavior online, how do I stop that?
So almost all marketers have a very simple opt-out process. It's a link that you go to. You just kind of click the link and it sets a cookie. The ironic thing there is we have to actually track you to know that you don't want to be tracked, and you're put into that bucket. But there is almost in every case a very clear way to opt out.
x+1 is the company. Ted Shergalis is one of the co-founders. Thank you, Ted.
Thanks for having us.